History is, in most ways, on Zverev's side here. Normally, if you are good enough to lose 3 major finals, you are too good not to win one. That's how the history has played out. Ivan Lendl, Andre Agassi, Andy Murray, Goran Ivanisevic, Dominic Thiem, and Casper Ruud. TBD on him. But if you look at that list of players, who are all of the men's players who have been 0-3 or worse in Slam finals, they have all gone on to win at least one. Some of them have won a whole lot. Now, if you complicate this, you throw a little bit of nuance into this, you bring the age factor in. Lendl was 0-4 at 23 years old. He ended up winning 8. Agassi was 0-3 at 21 years old. He also ended up winning 8. You start to see the older you are when you hit that 0-3 mark, the less you end up winning. So let's go to Andy Murray. He was 0-4 at 25 years old. He ends up winning 3. He's always a weird case because we know he's kind of a better player than what the Slam total ended up saying. Goran was 0-3 at 26. He wins 1. Thiem was 0-3 at 26. He wins 1. Zverev is now 0-3 at 27. So the one reason why I would complicate any comparison to Agassi and Lendl, or they were young when they were, by the time they were 0-3 in major finals. I would complicate some of these comparisons is that Zverev is a whole lot older. Now, he's not that much older than Goran and Thiem, but we've seen, like, it could have gone either way for Dominic Thiem and Ivanisevic. They only had the stars aligned for them once, and most of them did not have this particular performance problem that we're seeing with Zverev. If I take the data-driven approach and I sort of end that and we go to what I'm seeing, how I'm reading the tea leaves, I think there's a big problem here. And in terms of trauma and scar tissue, I feel that this loss was just as traumatic as the first 2. The first 2 were very different from this because Zverev had big leads. He won 2 sets against Thiem in the 2020 US Open and against Alcaraz in last year's Roland Garros. This one was traumatic in a different way where he was never in it and he got blown out and he did not produce a break point. But at the end of the day, he leaves yet another final and the feeling is I couldn't get myself up to where I need to get up in terms of individual performance. I couldn't get there again. So to me, I know it's a very different match, but the scar tissue goes even deeper. So that's another aspect where these comparisons with Lendl and Agassi and Murray aren't very germane because the way that they lost those finals were just not this traumatic. When Andy Murray lost the Wimbledon final to Roger Federer, his 4th, he cried into the mic and said, "I'm getting closer." Zverev can't say he's getting closer. My 2 cents are that 2 things need to happen for Alexander Zverev. Something needs to break his way, and he needs to fulfill his performance capabilities in one of these big finals. And both of those things need to happen probably at the same tournament. The first part is out of his control. Forget that. The second part is going to require real work. It does not just happen. Madison Keys, who won this Australian Open, her first major at 29 years old, she went to therapy. She changed her entire mental reality, not just as a player, as a person. She decided that she didn't need to win a major title to be satisfied with herself, to love herself, to be proud of her career. She made that detachment. She said, she got to a point where she felt like Madison Keys is more than whether or not she wins a major. And with that comfort and that inner stability, that foundation for her mental health, she was able to relax a little bit. And when she could relax, she unlocked her ability to perform at her best in these big matches. Now, this is not a copy-paste. Okay, the mind is complicated. We have Everybody has different personalities, different backgrounds, and there's no one size fits all in terms of fixes here. So what Matty Keys did might not work for Zverev, but the point is the quest for mental improvement is active. It's not passive. And that's why it was so alarming to hear the way Alex was speaking after this loss to Sinner, to say after the match, quote, "I'm just not good enough." That is BS. He is number 2 in the world. He has beaten all of these top players. He's won Masters 1000s. He's won the year-end championships. He's won an Olympic gold medal. He is freaking good enough. What's not good enough is his performance. It's not his ability. It's not his capability. It is his performances when it's time to do the job. And I felt he spent way too much time after this match either coping or rationalizing by analyzing all the ways where Jannik Sinner is a better tennis player than he is, instead of reflecting on his own performance mentally and making a commitment to trying to fix that. That's what I'm not seeing. And if that doesn't happen, I don't think Zverev is ever going to win a major title.